G'day Australia, I'm Marcus Ambrose. We're here at Infineon Raceway for race 16 of the 2010 Sprint Cup Series. I've got my nemesis here from last year, Kasey Kahne. Kasey, actually one of the big time heroes in the sport. You won the race here last year. How'd you get it done?
Well, we had a great Budweiser car last year. It was, I had a lot of forward drive and didn't make any mistakes. I think that was the biggest thing. Once I got to the front, I was just able to hold the track position and not make any mistakes, and we had an awesome car, so it helped out a lot to have that good of a race car.
Now this track, it's the first road course of the season, and it's one of the shortest you'll ever find. This place is tight, twisty, it's got a lot of undulations. It's a very unusual track, especially when you combine 3,500 pounds and basically not 860 horsepower. Trying to get around this place is a real challenge. For me, it's all about looking after your stuff. You've got to look after your gearbox primarily, you've got to look after your brakes, certainty, and you've also got to make sure you just don't run into anybody. When you run into guys here, it's always trouble, real easy to get the fenders caught. Now Kasey's actually no stranger to Australian racing. He raced sprint cars there in January 2009. I think it was Parramatta, is that right?
Yeah, I raced in Parramatta. I raced 3 nights in Parramatta and really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. We ran pretty well there and had fun. That's a great dirt track over there.
There you go. So he might come back out 2010, 2011, who knows. He's one of the girls' favourite drivers. He's always a hero here in NASCAR. Enjoy the highlights on 1.
We are set to go green on a gorgeous Sunday afternoon in wine country. The front row, Kasey Kahne and Jimmie Johnson. Kahne chooses the outside lane as we go green in the Toyota Save Mart 350. It's time to let him go.
That's about as clean as I've seen a turn 1 at Sonoma ever on the start of a race.
And I'm going to tell you, these guys are respecting each other right here. You see, I mean, most of the time you don't go through there too wide like they went through too wide, but the new tires and all this stuff.
Wow. This is turn 4, the first hard right-hander, Jimmie Johnson nosing out on the outside lane.
But this next right-hander is a tough one. You want to be on the inside. I don't think that's going to work.
How about that?
That's Kurt Busch on the outside of Kasey Kahne, and he's able to grab second.
And Kurt made a bold move there, but Kasey allowed that to happen by backing out on the inside car. If he had forced the issue on the 48 right there, we could have seen the 3 cars in that synchronized spin right there in that corner.
That was turn 7, and now these drivers make their way through the S's for the first time. Jimmie Johnson, Kurt Busch, Kasey Kahne, and Kevin Harvick, the top 4.
Yeah, we're going to see some guys fanning out here. This is a great opportunity. This is the best place on the racetrack to pass. Is under braking here. You see Montoya on the outside of Bob Bonney, Truex on the inside, and everybody so far gets through clean. And you look at a guy like that, and Paul Menard's got a lot of road course experience, and Elliott. All these guys come in here thinking they're not good road racers, but a lot of them have gone through the schools. A lot of them, a lot of these Cup drivers have gone through like a Bondurant school. I mean, which is it's a great place to teach you some of the things, little bit tricks that you need to know on a road course. Because a guy like Marcus Ambrose, he's going to come with all that experience. Yeah. But those schools really help these drivers. I mean, both my sons have been through that school. It's the little things you can pick up, trail braking and things like that you don't know about, because you only come here on a road course twice a year.
Yeah, and the other thing that makes you better is racing against Boris Said, is racing against Marcus Ambrose, is racing. When you start racing against guys that are a lot better than you, then you're like, well, by God, if they can do it, I can do it.
But how are they doing it? And that's the thing. And when they go to these schools, they pick up, they go, oh, that's what he's doing. You know what I mean? So it really accelerates them. And there's a shot.
Yeah, but that's a little shot from down under right there into the back bumper. So that was nice.
And in many ways, these drivers who call themselves road course experts have been their own worst enemy. We heard here over the weekend Marcus Ambrose talking about maybe sharing too much information, and he did it in a joking way, but those guys have been helpful to the NASCAR regulars.
The biggest thing with a guy like Marcus, when you come on a road course, you have to attack a road course every single lap. Yes. You can't ever get into a situation where you're just running a race pace. You have got to drive this racetrack like you hate it every single lap. And that's the little bit of a difference between these guys and some of the guys that aren't used to running every week.
Kevin Harvick able to jump around Kasey Kahne, the point leader, up to third, couple of spots behind him. Jeff Gordon, Marty.
And some good progress, Adam, up from 12th right there. Gordon's made some early progress in the race. And this is the part, actually, of the race he told me he was worried about. He said, you know, in practice yesterday, we weren't very good on new tires. So that's what I'm worried about. He said the long run, that's where I think we'll be good. And Kyle Wally, you know, it's going to come down to a long run because the theory is you pit as quickly as you can for the final time, and you've got old tires at the end of the race. There's Ambrose mixing it up, fellas.
That's an aggressive move right there. You know, because I think we've been watching the 24 kind of protect that inside, but Marcos was not going to have any of that just then. He wanted that position. He wanted it bad.
The green flag going back in the air at lap 66. Wow.
Ooh, a lot of wheel spin back there on that. Oh, we got trouble. They're stacking up back there.
4 cars involved. Paul Menard, Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., Max Pappas among those.
And that was
Smith
all
got a piece of it.
all due to that wheel spin. Those guys, when they got on the gas, there was a bunch of guys that got loose. Their rear tires broke loose, and it stacked them up behind.
Yeah, that inside line just didn't go with Boris when he spun. And we were just watching out the window here, not what was on TV, but watching that.
Just watch everybody almost from the middle to the front. As soon as they go, you'll see guys.
This is where it starts.
Yeah,
it starts at the beginning. Let's be real clear. It starts in the first 4 or 5 cars. Yeah. But these are the guys that look at them back here.
Man, some of those guys just barreled in there.
Yeah, they were going, man.
As we were in break, we were a little surprised discussing the 2 men in front of Harvick. Marcus Ambrose, who has the lead, and Jimmy Johnson, who is currently second. Johnson's been strong all day, but right here, Ambrose holding him back.
Yeah, but you can see that Jimmy's slowly catching Ambrose. And I think the more they run on these tires, the 48 just doesn't fall off. Everybody else falls off, and that's what makes the Jimmy Johnson's car look so good. I think he's just biding his time right now.
Yeah.
Jamie McMurray and Bobby Labonte, the other 2 drivers you see exiting pit road. I made the comment about Matt Kenseth and a moment ago when he was leaving the pit lane with Tony Stewart. I said, look how slow it appears they're going. Well, he wasn't slow enough. He was caught speeding. Kenseth was entering the pit lane, and now a nice battle for the lead. Jimmy Johnson working over Ambrose in turn 11.
Yeah, now Jimmy's there where he can worry him. You know, for a little bit, Jimmy was a speck in the mirror.
What about the race car?
Okay, wait till I can get straight.
Not very fast.
Hey guys, the reason Frankie Kerr is asking Marcos Ambrose about his race car, I think he's going to be hitting pit road here the next lap or 2. But here's the thing I'm saying. Regardless of what Chad Canals has on his mind, he cannot be far behind that 47 car coming to pit road, because 1 lap difference could be about 2.5 seconds on the racetrack with fresh tires.
Larry, I agree. In fact, if I saw the 47 ducking, wouldn't you go with him? I mean, that's the guy you're racing right now. That's the guy you're worried about.
That may be one reason the 48 is staying right where he's at.
What are they thinking in the 48 camp, Ralph?
Exactly what Larry just said. Chad Canal said when the 47 comes, we'll come with him. Right now, stay right there. Make him really nervous. Hound that back bumper. Let him know we're here to race today.
Yeah, and that's an excellent point, because it is the only guy he's got to race.
And you're going to the pressure on the crews.
Yeah.
And the 48 bunch is pretty darn good. And that's another thing, is you put a lot of pressure on those guys in under the pit stops.
Yeah, and you know, Jimmy's at this place right now where whether he was leading this 47 by 2 seconds or 5 seconds, it really doesn't make any difference at this point in time. You know what I mean? He just needs to know where his competition is. He's run with this car longer than anybody else's.
Because every lap that you run on those older tires, these guys are going to be here. And we go, wow, 48 came in before the 47.
Wow.
Last time Jimmy Johnson had made a pit stop, lap 58. This one will come at lap 79. Marcus Ambrose, the race leader, has not been in since lap 52.
And you know, we talk about how critical these pit stops are at different stages of the race. And all of a sudden, really critical right here.
Go ahead, Ralph.
Jimmy Johnson is in, making that pit stop. He came a little bit earlier than we expected him to. Everything's been very good with the car. No major changes, no chassis adjustments going on. Matt, they're ready to go racing to the finish.